FlossTube, my name is Jordan here at Stitching Espresso, and you have found my very first FlossTube video. I named my channel Stitching Espresso because I felt like it was a cute play on like Stitching Express, plus I'm a big fan of espresso, mochas particularly, so I thought it was a cute little combination of my two of my favorite things, let's put it that way. I have wanted to do a FlossTube video or FlossTube channel for a while, but just haven't really had the time or made it a priority, and I finally felt like, you know what, now's the time, let's do it and let's connect on YouTube. I feel like my personality just fits better with YouTube than say other social media platforms, and so I thought I'd give it a shot. My plan for this video was to give you guys kind of an introduction as to who I am, my stitching journey, and then give you a little WIP parade. I say little, but I have 58 WIPs when I was compiling my WIP list. So for some people, I know that seems like a lot. For me, I'm happy with it. I'm actually trying to WIP down just a little bit, but you know, sometimes you just get the urge to start something and you want to just start something, so you do. So I kind of try not to pay attention to that number, but kind of give you an idea with this WIP parade of what kind of things I like to stitch, what my style is, what designers I like, so you can kind of get an idea of if you feel like this would be a channel that is gonna have some content that you're gonna want to see. Because I have so many WIPs, I am going to pause this video once I get through the first few, kind of reset, and then we'll get started again and go from there. So as an intro to my stitching journey and how I got into cross stitch and kind of what brought me back to cross stitch, what got me into FlossTube, all that fun stuff. I learned how to cross stitch when I was younger. I believe I was a teenager. I don't remember exactly when, but I was at Michael's and my sister was getting some other crafting stuff, and my mom was like, what do you want to get and try? And I had seen her cross stitch, or at least seen her cross stitch stuff at my parents' house, and was like, oh, you know what? That sounds like a fun idea. So I want to try cross stitch. And I knew that Michael sold cross stitch kits because I'd walked past them a few times. So I found one that I thought was really pretty and that I would really like. Got it home, started cross stitching. And I actually still have that project with me, and it'll be the first one that you see in this WIP parade. I am surprised I've managed to hold on to it this long, honestly. I'm not really sure why my mom let me pick this first kit out, because as you'll see, it's very complicated, and I shouldn't say complicated. There's just a lot of color changes and you gotta really pay attention to the pattern, but I stuck with it. I did eventually kind of lose steam on it and put it away, but I didn't get rid of it because I figured I would always come back and finish it at some point. Haven't yet, obviously, since it's in this WIP parade, but that's okay, we'll get there eventually. And then I just kind of went about my life, like did all my high school stuff, went to college, all that fun stuff, and then COVID hit. I was living with a friend at the time, and she quilted, or still quilts, I should say, and she would come home and she would quilt, and I was coming home and I would just sit on the couch and watch TV. And I was like, okay, I got to do something else with my time, with my life. I'm not really doing anything productive, and this is getting pretty boring and we can't go anywhere. So I was like, what kind of hobbies do I have, and what kind of things can I do for fun? And I remembered, oh wait, that whole cross stitching thing. Yeah, I could totally do that. Jump back in and see what's going on. Now, I obviously at that point had no idea how big the cross stitch community was, and I was figuring it was just the kits that I had seen at Michael's and was pretty much the same. But I started with Fat Quarter Shop because my roommate as a quilter knew about them and knew that they had a cross stitch section in their store. So I started there. I've done quite a few of their projects, and I have some stuff from them still in my WIP pile. Started with their FlossTube, or their live stream YouTube videos that they do. Their FlossTube videos, I guess is what they call them. And then discovered this whole world of FlossTube and the fact that there's a specific section of YouTube that's dedicated to cross stitch. Jumped down the rabbit hole of FlossTube, and I've never managed to come back out. Not that saying that I want to, but I've never come back out of it. So I dove headfirst into cross stitch. You'll see that there's a large amount of these starts that are from, or these WIPs that are from many, many years ago that I still haven't managed to finish because I jumped headfirst, got all the things, decided I wanted to stitch stuff for family and for friends as gifts, and yeah, it was just a whole thing. So and now I'm trying to catch back up with all of that stuff. And even with these WIPs, there's a bunch of stuff that's kitted in my hobby closet and a bunch of patterns that I still haven't kitted. So like I had stash beyond acquisition beyond life expectancy pretty early on in my cross stitch journey. Let's just say that. So yeah, so I jumped into FlossTube and then found out about just lots of different designers, found out about the Black Needle Society, so you'll hear about them a little bit in this video. And yeah, and just my eyes were opened to how broad the cross stitch community was, and how so many different styles and people on Etsy, because that's also where I started. I started with some patterns on Etsy, and then found out, oh wait, I live in a place that has two cross stitch, like two LNSs, like what? And so, yeah, and then I went to retreats and all kinds of stuff. So that's kind of a little blurb about how I got into cross stitch. I live in the Kansas City metro area. So if you've heard of CC & Company or Quilter Station. So yeah, so I have a great community of cross stitchers around me that I meet with in person, but then I've also connected with some people through the Black Needle Society and other retreats that I'm still in contact with who don't live here. So if you have any questions for me, feel free to ask them in the comments and I'll try to answer them in my next video. And then let's go ahead and get this WIP Parade started. I was told by a friend, don't worry about it being perfect, just do the thing. So we're just gonna do the thing. All right, and I tried to put these as in chronological order as best I could, but some of these I didn't do a great job of writing down their start date, so we'll just heads up with that. All right, and I did unzip all of my bags before starting today, so hopefully you won't have to deal with any zippers. Or at least I tried to make sure I did that. So, all right, so this first project is a Elsa Williams kit. This was the very first project I got when I started cross stitch back when I was a teenager. It's called Summer Music. There's the cover photo. I'll try to get that nice and close so you guys can see. I'm also gonna try to cover my face so the camera will actually focus. Beautiful. Sorry for the crease in the middle. This pattern is very old, as you can probably guess. So the reason I liked this pattern so much was I love music. Sorry, I keep bumping the table. I'll stop. I'll try to stop doing that. I love music. I grew up singing in the choir at my church from elementary school all the way up through high school. I sing in my church choir now. I play a few instruments. I learned how to play piano when I was younger. I can play guitar and French horn, not very well, but I can. And so I love music. Spring is my favorite season. I love flowers. So I really loved just the look of this pattern and all the colors and the fact that you're making a treble clef with flowers. I just thought that was beautiful. Now, when I bought this pattern, I had no idea that there was so much backstitch in here and so many color changes. Now, let's see. Yeah, and you'll know how old this pattern or this project is because the edges are covered in masking tape because I didn't know. My mom and I just didn't know, and that's what you did back then. So this is where I'm at. So not quite halfway. Let me see if I can, I'm going the wrong, yeah, there we go. Just to get that where you can see all of it. Try to get that to focus. I don't have any of the backstitch in just because with the way that this pattern is written, it's gonna be hard to do that as you go. And so I figured, at least for me, especially because I wasn't backstitching as I went initially, I was just gonna backstitch all of it at the end. And so, yeah, so I've got the main part of the middle part of the treble clef, that root flower down there, and then quite a bit of the bottom half, which the bottom half is the majority of the stitching. So I think once I get on to, and I think it's 2 pages, the way this pattern is set up. So once I get to this upper page, I think it'll go pretty quickly. It's just with this one, I don't work on it a ton because of the fact that there's so many color changes. I have to really be in the mood for it. And so it, unfortunately, like some of these other earlier WIPs, has not gotten a ton of love in the past. So I'm gonna try to fix that and eventually it'll get done, but it's kind of one of those that I know I'm gonna finish it at some point, so I don't necessarily mind that it's been languishing because I'm gonna love it forever. It's not something that I'm, like, I don't think my style is gonna change enough that I'm not gonna wanna stitch that pattern. So this next WIP, I don't have a cover photo for this one. And the reason for that is because, and this, I forgot to mention in my intro, this pattern also was a huge influences into me getting back into cross stitches. I was just doing some random Googling and found out that somebody had designed a Harry Potter associated pattern, and it was a stitch your own adventure. And what that means is that everybody's pattern can look a little bit different because there are different decisions and different questions that you have to answer, and that influences what part of the pattern you stitch. So for instance, in this one, I'm still in the intro, but when you're stitching your wand that goes in at the top, you actually rolling dice to decide which version of the wand that you want to stitch. And I know you could just pick whatever version you wanted to. You don't have to do that dice thing if you don't want to, but I thought it was a really cool concept. So I don't have a cover picture because everybody's is going to look different, and if I remember correctly, the designer did not provide a cover photo, like an example one, because it was a mystery when it was being released. It was being released in sections, and you didn't know what it was going to look like until the very end. So there's no cover photo, I believe, even on the final pattern, because again, everybody's is going to look different. So I'll show you what I have, and I can give you an idea of what's going to go in the different sections. But this one also hasn't gotten a ton of love recently, so I don't remember everything that goes everywhere. I'm gonna hope that I can fit this all in here. So this is where this one is at. So these little lines that you see here, these are meant to section out like pieces of parchment, and those are gonna each individually have a different thing stitched in them. So like this middle one is gonna be the Hufflepuff flag, and I'll have a badger in there because I'm a very proud Hufflepuff. Go Hufflepuffs. Love my house. And so that'll be in the middle. And then the other ones are just different things in Harry Potter. So like I know and again, depending on how you answer the questions and what you do, everyone's will look different. So I think one of them, you might have some potions things in there. One might have some runes. I think one of them may have actually, it's either a Patronus or it's Buckbeak. I can't remember. But it's been a minute since I've looked at this pattern, so I don't 100% remember. But here's my start on my wand. The other thing that's cool about this pattern is there's like the Hogwarts house will be up here. There's an owl over here, and a bunch of different people have made a bunch of different customizations to this. And so I have a few of those downloaded so that I can put those in later. Cause this, I believe, was stitched, this is from 2020. I also realized I didn't tell you the start date on the last one or what I'm stitching it with. So I will do that at the end of this. So this pattern I started August 31st of 2020. So actually coming up on its 5th birthday here in a little while. So I really should get some stitching in on this. And this is on an unnamed linen. I'm pretty sure it's a raw Zweigart, but I don't remember. I just went to the cross stitch store and told them what size I needed and what color I wanted, and we got it, but I don't, there's no selvage edge on this, so I don't actually know. I don't remember what it is, and I'm pretty sure it's 32 count. And then I'm stitching it with all the called for DMC, which I will pull out the box for you to see, because it's a lot of DMC. This one and then his other one that I'll show you in a minute, they each have their own little bobbin box, because one, I was bobbinating at the time, and I still do, just not this way anymore. And there's enough DMC. This isn't all the DMC for the entire pattern. This is the DMC just for the intro, because I figured I would get the DMC and put it in here as I got to the different parts of the pattern, so that I didn't end up, one, hoarding a bunch of DMC in this project because I didn't know how long it was going to take me to finish, and two, I didn't want to have to shell out all the money for all the DMC right at the beginning. So all of these, or hit this one and then the other one that I'll show you later in the WIP Parade, all have a bobbin box in them. Going back to my first WIP, it's my first video, there's gonna be mistakes, right? That is stitched with the called for, like the Ada kit, or the kit Ada and kit floss, which I believe is DMC, but it doesn't actually say. Pretty sure that Ada was a 14 count. So, all right. Also, I do have 2 cats, so if you hear little pitter patters or meows, that's them. Speaking of, I will bring them up on video if they get close enough to make an appearance. Okay, next WIP is the Christmas wreath sal. So if you're familiar with Frosted Pumpkin, you've probably seen this pattern before. This is the sal that they did back at the end of 2020. Let's see if I can show this without, I do have a ring light, but I don't want you guys to have to deal with the glare. so, and get it to focus. I think that it's not technically focused, I don't think, but it's good enough. And you guys probably know what this pattern looks like. So yeah, so I got the kit. So I have the kit fabric and kit DMC for this. I did make one change, which I'll talk about when I show it to you, but I started this back on November 20th of 2020. My notes are over here in case my WIP list is over here in case you're wondering why I'm looking down. So, all right. Yeah, and the called for fabric on this is a 28 count linen and called Heartland from Picture This Plus. So that's where I'm at. So a little over halfway, which I'm pretty proud of myself for that because there was no way I was keeping up with it back in the day just because my work schedule at that time was just crazy. So there was no way, especially with that big bow that you see at the bottom there, the infamous big bow. And so I tried to keep up with it as best I could, and then I've just been working on it intermittently as the years have gone. So love these patterns. Initially, when I first started looking into Frosted Pumpkin, I was like, I don't know about these little eyes on these objects, like the eyes on the stars, and like some of their other patterns. I was like, this seems a little bit weird, but as I kept looking at it, I was like, you know what? It's actually really cute, so we're gonna keep it on there. So I did. Now, the one change I'm making with this pattern, I'm gonna see if I can get you, I don't know that it picks up on camera from what I've seen from other FlossTubes. Yeah, I don't think so. You can kind of see it. And I haven't fluffed it up in a while, and I don't plan to really fluff it up until I fully finish it. But I'm using, I used Whisper in Santa's beard and in the bottom part of his hat. And I believe I also used it, yeah, and I used it in the pom-pom of his hat too. So, and I did it where I did the bottom leg with regular DMC, and then I did my top leg with Whisper to give it the fluff, but I had heard from some people that if you do the whole X in Whisper, it's really annoying to deal with, so I did not do that. I tried the bottom leg white, top leg Whisper, and it worked out really well. So, yeah, I just love these colors. Just think it's super cute. And I do plan to finish this as the pillow once I'm done with it, whenever that may be. I have all of the stuff and like the fabric and everything for it, so I will do that then. This is the other project that I was talking about with the massive bobbin box. So I also realized I did not tell you the designer on that Harry Potter Stitch Your Own Adventure. That is by Cunning Cross Stitch. He's a British designer. He was initially on Blogspot, but now he has his own website. And so that was the 2020 stitch along, and he does a stitch along usually every year. Not always, but usually. This was the 2021 stitch along, and this is called the Magic Kingdom stitch along. So not a Stitch Your Own Adventure. Every release was the same for everyone, but it was a mystery stitch along. You didn't know what Disney movies were gonna be included and when. So this one I started back in January, on January 5th, 2021. And, oh, I did not take this one out of its plastic bag. Sorry, let me do that really quick. I know you're not supposed to apologize for the crinkles, so I'm not going to. So this is where I am on this one. So the first release was Ariel. Oh, I need to show you the cover photo. I'll do that here in just a second. First release was Ariel, and then Snow White was after that. And then I just finished up the Lion King one not too long ago, and now I'm working down here on the Beauty and the Beast one. So this is actually starting to like this purpley outline around the rose there. So super cute. And I'm stitching this on 32 count cottage stone from Color and Cotton, which is one of my, I am using the called for DMC on this one, also in a bobbin box like I mentioned. This is, again, not all of the colors. This is just the colors from the first four months. So yeah, so there's that. Let me get you the cover photo, and it'll be the cover photo from December, which was the last release. I tried to put these all in order, so hopefully they don't take too long to load. All right, I'm gonna cover, nope, I'm not gonna cover up my face because I wanna try not to get the glare, but there's what that's gonna look like. Next WIP is Silent Night by Country Cottage Needleworks. I just fell in love with this church, and I'm a big fan of Christmas. I don't normally like stitching buildings, but now I've discovered, but I do like this one. I do really like, and I like the style of Country Cottage Needleworks a lot. You'll see quite a few of their patterns in my WIPs here. This one I started on March 4th of 2021. And I am stitching this with the called for fabric and floss, which it's a mixture of DMC, Gentle Arts, and Weeks. And then this is 32 count pearl gray linen, I believe by Zweigart. Yeah, especially with the orange selvage there. And that's all I've gotten. So I got the top border here and then the top part of the church. But I do really like this pattern. Because it's an older WIP, I don't always pull it out. It's not always at the forefront of my mind. But I also I stitch Christmas outside of season. I'm not super seasonal with my stitching, but I just don't always gravitate towards my Christmas projects if it's not Christmas. So I'll pull that closer to you a little bit. There you go. So there's that. Super pretty. I'm also realizing I'm 26 minutes in and we've gotten like 5 WIPs down and there's so many more. So I might have to cut out some of this jabbering. Next is Sir Thomas. This is by Glendon Place. I started this May 1st of 2021. I made a working copy of this one just because it's a lot. And so this is what this one looks like. Super beautiful turkey. Love him so much. And then also when you see it stitched up with all the beads and the silk lame and everything, it's fantastic. So there's that. I am stitching this. I got the kit, so I'm stitching this on I believe it's 28 count. China Pearl Jobelin from Witchell. And all called for floss. So the Sullivan, silk lame, all that fun stuff. And we'll talk about this in a minute more, or talk about this more in a minute, but I'm not a huge fan of Witchell fabric, but their Jobelin's actually pretty nice. I really like stitching on this. And that's where we're at. So yeah, this is a petite treasure braid. This is like silk lame, so you can kind of see all that sparkle in there. Oh, that's actually picking up pretty decently. All these open spaces here are gonna be beads, which I'll put in at the end because over the course of my cross stitch journey, I have discovered I like stitching in Q-snaps. And so obviously you can't bead when you're stitching in a Q-snap. So I haven't put those in yet and I'll put those in at the end, but I haven't gotten very far, but he's super pretty. I'm gonna be really excited when he's done. So that's where I'm at on that one. Next up is Let's Talk Autumn by Hands On Design. You're gonna see a lot of hands-on design because hands-on design is one of my favorites. I'm doing the framed piece. I just really like how all of this looks with the chalkboard effect and just all the different motifs in there. I started that on May 15th of 2021. And this is on 32 count linen in slate by Fabrics by Stephanie, which is the called for. And I'm using all the called for DMC with these. All right, and funnily enough, this is the one I started first, but I don't have nearly as much done on this one as I do one of the other ones. So this is where we're at. Just have the harvest blessings in there and then the top of one of the acorns. Next up is Frogwarts Year 1. There you go, pretty band sampler. You've probably seen this around before. But yeah, there's that. So I am stitching this on the called for fabric, which is 32 count vellum by Picture This Plus. And I am stitching this with the called for overdyes as well as the etoile. So I don't actually know if there's no etoile in this yet, but that's where I'm at. And this one's gotten a little bit of love this year because I did Frogwarts Mania as an idea from one of my friends, Sam. I saw her post about it and I was like, you know what, that's a great idea. So that's what I did. Now with this one, so some of these Birdie Bots beans are already stitched in and I'm actually going to change those. When we get our box every year, there is a set of color and cotton flosses that are dyed specifically for that box. And I'm gonna pull these out that I've already stitched and I'm gonna pick my favorites from those colors and stitch my beans in those colors because I think that would be fun. But I'm waiting until we get all the boxes in order to decide which colors I want, which ones I want to stitch. So there is this one. And I don't remember exactly when I started this project. I think it was, yeah, it's May of 2021. I don't remember exactly what day I started it. I did not do a very good job of writing that down. After that is Frogwarts Year 2, which this was the first retreat I went to through the Black Needle Society. So this is the one I have the most done on. So this is what that pattern looks like. So all of the things from Year 2. I am stitching this on the called for colored fabric. And this is 32 count linen in Harvest from Harvest Blessings, pardon me, by Seraphim. And that is where I'm at. I think when I have this one in Pattern Keeper as well, because I discovered with Frogwarts it's a competitive cross stitch retreat. There we go. That's the word I was looking for. And so you get points based on how many stitches you stitch. And so I discovered, I believe it was either Year 3 or Year 4, just how helpful having the pattern in Pattern Keeper was. And so I have since gotten the Pattern Keeper versions for all of them. But they give us the printed pattern in the box. So I'll see if I can get that a little bit closer for you to see everything. And just like Frogwarts Year 1, I am stitching this with the called for overdyes and the etoile. So I don't know if you'll be able to see it, but like the sword, because I know etoile doesn't pick up well on camera from what I've been told and what I've seen on FlossTube. You can kind of see it, yeah, it's sparkly. So yeah, because I started this back on June 27th of 2021. Next is the Cozy Cafe Sal from Frosted Pumpkin. As my YouTube channel name, or FlossTube channel name indicates, I'm a big coffee / espresso fan. And so when this was announced, I was like, oh yeah, gotta get on board with that. This is super cute and I just love the colors on it. So yeah, so jumped on that right away. So let me show you the cover photo here. So this is what it's gonna look like when it's done. I try not to get and this is on 28 count linen in Opal by Picture This Plus, which I love the pink undertone in this fabric. I started this sometime in 2021. I forgot to write it down. I believe their Sal came out later in the year that year, like the wreath did, but I could totally be wrong. It might have been March and I just completely forgot. So I just have it on my list there. So this is where I'm at. I was stitching them in order initially, and then I decided that because of the way that they got released, I was like, I don't think that's gonna make the most sense, and I'm gonna have to jump around a lot. So I was like, or not a lot, but more than I would if I just stitched them in order. So I started here with the mocha, and then I'm stitching around this way. So I started here and going over here and then going down. So, and then I'll just finish the bottom and then come back around up top. I know it has a date on it. It says established 2021. I'm pretty sure I'm just gonna put 2021 because that's when I started it. So I know typically people do when they finish it, but I don't think I'm gonna do that. Now we're getting into July of 2021. So this is A Merry Little Christmas by Stitching with the Housewives. They were also one of the first few designers I found mainly through the Fat Quarter Shop. And so the one I have of theirs currently is A Merry Little Christmas. I love the blue fabric and the colors. I am doing this one on, I believe 28 count. Yeah, 28 count linen. It's Icelandic. I believe it's Icelandic blue by Witchell. I don't actually have the tag in here anymore. So that's where I'm at now. So just need to finish up the sign, the little, and then Christmas at the bottom, and then and Santa. So there's quite a bit left to do still. This is the project where I discovered I don't like Witchell linen. Like you can probably tell, it's super thin. And yeah, just the holes are huge. It's rough, and so it's very pretty. Like I really like this color, obviously, but when I finish this project, I'm probably just gonna cut this off and then put it on a freebie table for somebody to take, because I have fabric for days in my stash and I don't need to keep fabric I don't necessarily enjoy stitching on. And this one I am using the called for Classic Colorworks, which I believe I have in here on a ring. I do. So, and super pretty colors. I feel like Priscilla does a great job with her color choices. So that's that. Last one on this page, but definitely not the last one for 2021. This is Quaker Christmas. All right, so this is Quaker Christmas 2 by Bygone Stitches. So I started this July 8th of 2021. Let me pull out my project card that I filled out for all of these. I am stitching this on 36 count linen in Cream and Sugar by Fiber on a Whim. It's one of my favorites. I love their fabrics so much. And I am using Classic Colorworks Ribbon Red and Mistletoe, because I wanted a brighter red. It calls for, I believe, yeah, Currant and Blue Spruce from Gentle Arts. And those were just a little bit more subdued, a little bit more on like the purpley blue side, and that's not really what I go for Christmas. So really nice bright red, and then this more, this like lighter green, but also more on like the yellow, which usually I'm not like a yellow green person, but I just liked this green a little bit more. And these are the two colors that I'm using. I feel like the red's probably it's not quite that bright in person, but I have the ring light like all the way up just because this room is pretty dark. So yeah, those are the two colors I'm using. Next up is April sampler of the month. So this was, that's the other one. This is by Country Cottage Needleworks. Oh goodness, is April. Sorry about the glare. I tried to be proactive about everything, kind of forgot about the whole take it out of the plastic thing with the ring light. All right, I'm just gonna hold this over my face for a minute because I feel like my camera doesn't focus until I do that. So yeah, super cute colors. This one I have quite a few of the motifs stitched, so I'll get it up nice and close for you. So yeah, what did I say? So I started this on July 9th of 2021. So yeah, so you've got your banner at the top, your cute little bunnies and your ducks, and then your Easter eggs and the carrots, and then the orange house. And then yeah, now I've started down at the bottom repeating those. So not too much left. I just got to finish this section at the bottom and then this border, and then it's done. I am stitching this on 32 count Lugana in Peanut by Bee Stitch Me, another one of my favorites. Color and Cotton, Bee Stitch Me, Fiber on a Whim. Really love those. And I'm using the Called For Classic Colorworks on this one. Next up is Let's Talk Spring by Hands On Design. You would think I'd get that right. So again, like you've already seen Let's Talk Autumn. And so this is one of the other ones in that series. So I am also stitching this one on the 32 count slate by Fabrics by Stephanie. And I'm using the Called For DMC because Kathy's color choices are awesome. I started this one on July 9th of 21 as well. Yeah, I was pretty sure this was a frogwort start. I've gotten quite a bit done on this one. I think, yeah, there's just like the bird's nest. That's where I've started down here. And then I got to stitch in raindrops over here. And then like there's some green stuff up here. And then I'm pretty much done. So that's exciting. So yeah, this is another one that needs to be on my close to a finish list. Okay, I should be writing this down. So there is the full pattern for that one. So yeah, I just need to put in this stuff down here and then this stuff over here, and then it'll be done. Next WIP on the list is the Bats and Booze Sal from the Fat Quarter Shop. I started this one on August 2nd, 2021. And this one was their mystery Halloween stitch along that year. So this one is on 28 count linen. I believe this is Icelandic gray because I'm pretty sure I bought 2 Icelandic colors when I bought the Witch Out. I keep forgetting to show you cover photos. Sorry. I will apologize for that. So that is that one. The white I feel like does show up better in person. I think it's just because I have my ring light on all the way, so it's kind of bright. So there's that. And I am stitching this, like I said, on 28 count Witch Out, but I am using my own floss conversion for this because I have quite a bit of Forbidden Fiber Co. because I found out about them fairly early on in my stitching, like my return to stitching. And so I have and I really liked her floss and her colors. And so I have quite a few of hers. And so I wanted to do a floss conversion for this because as I've gone through my stitching journey, I've discovered I'm not a huge fan of Weeks Dye Works. So I did a Forbidden Fiber Co. conversion. So yeah, just 1 for 1 on those colors. And they match really well. It's really nice. So yeah. Next project is from a retreat I went to. I think it was the very first, if not the first, it was the second Quilter Station retreat that they had in Lee Summit. And I've finished, 2 of the other projects that we were given, but this one I still haven't finished yet. And this is Acorns and Crows needle roll from Chessie and me. And so she lays everything out in the pattern very nicely so that you can use all of your kit linen efficiently. I really want to stitch this at some point, but the first thing that's written down is this needle roll thing, which I wasn't necessarily planning to stitch, but I was like, you know what? In order to get to where I need to get on the fabric for this, I should do this. I realize now that I didn't need to do that, but since I've already started this and it's cute, all the stuff in here is cute, so I will eventually finish it and then I'll stitch the scissor fob and this stuff, or the house, because I have the house still somewhere and all of my stuff. So there's that. I am stitching this on the kit fabric with the kit floss, and it comes with, like, she provided us with everything that we needed to finish it. So with the needle roll and everything else. So yeah, this is 36 count linen, old stationery by Seraphim. That's where I'm at. Oh, sorry, another dangling thread. Whew. I don't normally do that, but so yeah, I've gotten, I think the first side's done on this, like with the crows and the acorns, and then I got the house and then the other side and then the alphabet, which I'm not a huge alphabet stitcher, but I've heard they go fast, so we'll see how that goes. And then I don't know if you could tell that from the pattern, but these are actually satin stitches, which is the first project I have that has satin stitches on it. So yeah, so that's where we're at with that one. Super pretty. And I'll just keep plugging away at it. Just keep on going. Okay. Oh, and that one I started on September 10th of 2021 at the retreat. Now, this project was my birthday start back in 2021. I told myself I wasn't gonna do a birthday start every single year. I was gonna try, or I had planned to try to like finish one before I do another one. If I stick to that rule, I'm never gonna have a birthday start ever again. Because this is Winter Snowfall by Shannon Christine. And if you're familiar with that pattern at all, you know that it's very big. So this is what it looks like. Now, I am not stitching it in that colorway because this pattern comes with lots of different colorways. I think there's like a purple, a pink, a blue, which is the one I'm doing. There might even be a green as well, I think. So yeah, I am doing the blue colorway, which uses 3325 and 322 as the two different colors. So mine will be more, oh, kind of matches my shirt today, blue instead of teal, which is teal is the one that's on the cover photo. Sorry, I keep forgetting the camera's over there. Yeah, started this on my birthday, which is September 17th in 2021. And I am stitching this on 32 count linen. I believe it's slate. There could be another gray. I don't have the bag anymore in this project like I thought I did. But it's probably gonna take up most of this fabric anyway, so I won't really have much left over. But that's all I'm at. Wow, I say I don't leave hanging threads, but I've left a lot of projects with hanging threads. I don't normally do this, I promise. But that's where I'm at. I'm just working on the white in the top corner. Don't have much done. So it's gonna be a minute before this one's done too, but that's okay. Next is Winter Welcome. And I got this project in the Nice List box back in 2021 from the Black Needle Society. And this is by Park Hopper Bart. Park Hopper Bart, there we go. There's that. With the Black Needle Society Nice List box, they give you the pattern, the fabric, and the floss in the box. So I'm using what they gave us. So, which on this project is DMC and some Etoile. Oh, I just realized I do actually have the bag that has the name of the fabric on it. Okay. I didn't know that I had it, which is exciting. Oh, and we actually got, sorry, the pattern says DMCs, but we got solvents in the kit. So I'm gonna see if I can pull these out without making a mess. Kind of, sort of. There we go. So there's the Sullivans and then the Etoiles. So, and this is on 28 count Winter Berry by Fortnite Fabrics, which unfortunately you can't get anymore. But this is where I'm at. Another one with a dangling thread. I'm a liar apparently. So all I've gotten done is the upper part here and then the border around the snowman, and then I started doing winter welcome at the bottom. My plan is to finish all of this etoile white, and then I'll go in and do the snowman at the end, just to get all of the, eat my vegetables, as they say, where I get all of the other stuff stitched first, and then go in and do the more fun stuff. So that's the plan. We'll see if that happens. And I started that one on December 13th of 2021. Next is Let's Talk Winter. This is the last one in the series that I've actually started. I typically don't start the next one in a series until I finish the other one, but I think I just liked these all so much and really wanted to start them that I just did that anyway, even though that's not typically what I do. So there's that. Actually, that one looks okay. Again, I'll take these out of the plastic bags the next time I show them. I started this one on December 11th of 2020, 14th. Sorry, I can't read my own handwriting. 14th, 2021. And I am again using the called for fabric and floss. So Slate by Fabrics by Stephanie on 32 count and the called for DMC. And this one I think I have the least amount on. Just said, I think because I don't normally start multiples of the same thing, I think I've been really focusing on spring to try to get spring done since it's the closest, and then I'll do the other ones. I should probably do something where like on the solstice or like some seasonal stitch thing, but we'll figure that out later. So yeah, that's where I'm at with that one. Haven't even finished the top part yet. So just warm winter, not even wishes yet, but we'll get there. So, but yeah, super cute. Love the colors. Excited to eventually have these done and I'll hang them up in my house. We have actually finished the 2021 WIPs. So I'm gonna take a drink of water real fast. And then we'll get into the 2022 WIPs. So, first thing I started in 2022 was a temperature chart. And you're probably thinking, Jordan, you're supposed to finish temperature charts in the year that you start them. And you're like, yeah, typically that's what you do, but that's not what I did. Again, my work schedule at the time was just really crazy. And so I started this with the whole intention that I was gonna try to stay caught up every week. And then like things do, I just got behind and then I never managed to catch back up. Let me show you the cover photo. This is the Rainbow Temperature Galaxy by Climbing Goat Designs. So here is the Rainbow Temperature Galaxy chart. Now, they're not all gonna look like this, obviously, because it's a temperature chart, and so they're gonna be a little bit different, but this gives you the gist of what it's gonna look like. I just thought when this came out that the galaxy looked really cool and was a really interesting way of doing temperatures, and I had the perfect fabric for it, so I was like, I'm totally gonna do this. So I started this back on January 2nd of 2022. I'm stitching this with the called for DMC. Now you could do it, however, like she gave you the options of how you wanted to break down your temperatures, because I live in the Midwest. We get all 4 seasons. The temperatures can be super cold to super hot. And so I picked like very small temperature ranges to reflect that. So this is where I'm at currently. Speaking of the white, I have oh, and that's not even right set up. Whoops. So yeah, so that's where I'm at with this one. So this is 32 count Lugana Cosmos by Bee Stitch Me, and I just love, and it's opal. I just loved the black, the blue, the purple. I thought it really looked like the galaxy, like the outer space. And so yeah, so that's where I'm at. I'm pretty sure that's right. I have to kind of reorient. Oh no, sorry. It's like this. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's right. So yeah, so super cold, but also like some pretty warm stuff in there too. And I'm pretty sure I've gotten through March. Like I'm pretty sure this is January to March. So all kinds, if it's either March or April, all kinds of crazy colors in there. This is Prince of Peace by Erica Michaels. I started this on January 8th of 2022. I am not doing this on silk gauze. If you're familiar with this pattern or any other Erica Michaels patterns, sometimes, or a lot of these like bigger framed pieces will be silk gauze. I am not doing it on silk gauze. I did not feel confident that I would know how to do that, / I did not even know where I would go to get silk gauze. So I am doing this on fabric, and I am doing my own color conversion because I've acquired quite a bit of floss through my own purchase, through my own purchasing, but purchasing at like stores, being in floss clubs, I'm doing like D-stash pages, or like Instagram stuff. And so I was like, I have plenty of fabric or floss and fabric I can just pull from my stash and not buy what's called for, because I'm not doing the silk gauze. I might as well do my own fabric conversion too. So that is what I did. And I am stitching this on 40 count linen by Parthenon by Color and Cotton. And then I am basically doing a Color and Cotton, and it's a Nina's floss. I've never heard of them before until I got some floss from a D-Stash page. So these are the colors I'm using for that. And I'll talk about specific colors like when I show these in the future. But these were very similar to what was called for. So there's that. And this is where I have gotten to. This is one that's also really close to a finish. I do have it on my list of close to a finish projects, but this is just super fun. I really like the detail here with like these stitches. I think since my ring light is so bright, you may not be able to see them super well, but these like the stitches that ghost, they're just enough to give like some texture in the piece, but they're not super like poppy, so they don't take away from this. And this pattern is just the different names that are given to describe Jesus in Isaiah. So yeah, I just have, I think there's, I have a son is given to put down here, and then the border, and then wonderful, because I wanted to do, I like to stitch words in the correct order, so I'm gonna actually stitch wonderful from down to up. That my brain just works better that way. So that's what I'm gonna do. So yeah, not too much left on this one either, which is super exciting. Next is Hoop There It Is by Heartstring Samplery. Super fun red, like bright red fabric with like these stitching motifs around it. It's obviously a play on the Hoop There It Is song. I'm pretty sure that's just what it's called. And then, let's see, what else I need to tell you about this? I started this on February 4th of 2022. I am stitching this is all from my stash, I believe, yeah, because the she calls for Weeks Dye Works fabric and thread, which I don't have much of, like I don't have any of that, and I also just don't like stitching with it like we talked about. So I am stitching this on an unnamed red fabric from Jody from Steel City Stitchers, because I was in her fabric of the month club for a little while, and so I have enough of it, and she does amazing bright colors, and I love the way that her fabric looks with the bright colors, and so I was like, you know what, I'm gonna stitch all of these with Jody fabric. So I have a green for the WIP It Good, and then there's another one that I can't remember which one it is, but I have fabric for that one too. So that's where I'm at. So I just have that upper left-hand corner. And yeah, because of the way that I stitch, if I'm not stitching in the middle, starting in the middle because it's a kit, I typically will stitch in the upper left, because that's where, yeah, I stitch left to right, and so it makes, and top down. So it makes sense for me to do it that way. So yeah, yeah, that's pretty true. It is more of an orangey red, so yeah, that's pretty true to color, I would say. And then this floss is Antique Lace from Classic Colorworks, which I did not pull that out for you. I mean, it's a pretty standard white. So just a little bit on the yellow side. But next is Valentine House Trio by Waxy Moon Designs. I just think these houses are super cute. I started this one because I really don't have that much Valentine stitching. Well, this one is a trio of houses, obviously. And so I am stitching this one down here. I haven't actually, this is the first one I'm starting with, and I haven't finished any of these houses yet. So this is on 28 count linen Mocha by Be Stitch Me. This one is also close to a finish. Yeah, February 14th of 2022, and that's where I'm at. So I think with this one, yeah, I just have the house to fill in, the bunting at the bottom here, and then the border, and then I think, oh, and I have some back stitching to do. The word beloved I have to do up here. So there is that. Oh, there it is. I was like, I feel like I see a hair. I wasn't sure if it was on my camera or on my fabric. I found it. And this one, I am doing my own, like a slight conversion on this one, because it calls for Weeks Dye Works and then one DMC. And so I just did, I pulled floss from stash. I'll pull it out for you to see, but I'm not gonna go through all the individual colors. But just because we'll be here a while if I do that. Oh, sorry, these are not quite as organized. Oh, because some of these are for this house and some of them are for the other houses. And so I think these are the ones that I have left for this house specifically, but I'll show you the rest of them too. So yeah, so those are all the colors, or maybe it's backwards. Maybe this is for the current house. But yeah, so I just pulled some Forbidden Fiber Co., Classic Colorworks, whatever matched the colors. And again, oh, sorry. I will go through the conversions as I pull these out. Unless you like desperately need to know, and then you can just leave a comment down below and I will let you know what it is. Next up, we have the March sampler of the month for from Country Cottage Needleworks. Looks like this. So cute leprechauns at the top with some pretty flowers, some shamrocks. See if I can get you a little closer. Pretty greenhouse. So the rainbow on this one is really pretty. I started this one on March 4th of 2022. I think the reason I started this one was, even though I had April started already, is I have January and February done, and so I wanted to get March going so that I can have more of these to put out. So there is that. My lovely French knots for eyes. Don't judge, I'm not very good at them. But super cute flowers. Yeah, the rainbow is super cute. So yeah, I just have to go and repeat those top 3 bands at the bottom, and then it's done. But yeah, just love all the different colors in this one. And I'm stitching that on 32 count Peanut Lugana from Be Stitch Me with the Called For Classic Colorworks. Put that back in its bag. Okay, now we're on to Flea Market Flowers. And this is by Lori Holt. Yes. I love the colors on this one so much. Like, I saw this and I was like, that thing's gonna be huge, but those colors are beautiful. And I just love the way that she designed these flowers. Super pretty. All right, and I started this on March 21st of 2022. I am stitching this on Barley. I believe it's Lori Holt's fabric. I believe it's vintage cloth is what it's called, but I don't have the bag anymore and I forgot, and I didn't want to look it up, if I'm being honest. And I'm doing this on 25 count Lugana because that's what the model was stitched on, so this thing's gonna be huge. I just have this the upper left flower done. So super pretty. I'm only using 2 strands, but I still love the coverage on it. I just love those colors. And then, yeah, this is my DMC ring, super pretty. Yeah, just love all these colors. I'm a big spring fan, and these colors just scream spring to me, and I love flowers, so I thought that was really pretty. And this Lugana is nice to stitch on. Next page. Okay, so this is the Nutcracker Village Sow from Country Cottage Needleworks. I did start it, when the sow started, but I'm pretty sure, but I have not gotten very far. So this is the one I'm working on, which is the Sugar Plum Sweet Shop. I started this one on May 15th of 2022. Sorry, I'm not supposed to apologize for crinkles. Here we go. I am stitching this with the Called For DMC and Classic Colorworks. I will not pull them out of the bag right now just because it will be an absolute mess because of just the number and the way that I have them stored in here, because I have them on it. It's So Calico floss holder. I don't think she's making them anymore. I think she retired, but I have it on these one of these little holders, and then like this is felt, and there's a magnet for your needle and all that fun stuff. So it's kind of it's organized, but it's kind of a mess in there because everything's in there. So this is where I'm at. Another hanging thread. So yeah, got quite a bit of the sweet shop done, but still definitely a bunch left to go. I did start color completing on this one a little bit because when I pulled this out last, I got into a color completing frenzy. And so that's why you see like these random spots of white is because I wanted to color complete that. And I think I needed to do the outline on the house or the sweet shop to do like the window and the door. And so I was like, I'm just going to keep going with some white. So that's what I did. Eat my vegetables a little bit. So, and that way I can come in and do the bright colors later. So there's that one. I am stitching this as one piece. Next up is Orca by Carolyn Manning Designs. Orcas are my favorite animal, so I just love the coloring on this. Oh, I forgot. I was just gonna put that in front of my face. There you go. I think because it's probably from Free Willy, I don't know, but I think they're really cool. They have the fact that they're related to dolphins and just the way that they hunt and their family structure and all. I don't know. They're just really cool animals. I have actually seen them in the wild and it was very exciting. And so I started this June 18th of 2022 and this is where I'm at currently. So I was kind of stitching these like block by block because like you kind of have this little block here. And then I decided, you know what, it might actually make more sense to do diagonals. So I am doing this at diagonals now, or I'm trying to. And so that's why you have all these dangling threads. Sorry, I do park because that's what makes the most sense in my brain. And so there's lots of dangling threads for me parking. So yeah, I'm trying to go back through and kind of reform these diagonals. I do have this one in Pattern Keeper, which has made this really nice to stitch on. This is just on a 14 count plain Aida. These stitches up here at the top are so that I know this is the top. I don't get confused. Now that I'm stitching in the diagonal, it's not as hard to remember that this is the top, but yeah, I put those in there to denote the top. And I'm using all the called for DMC. I would pull them out, but they're not organized in any way. So it's gonna look like the cover photo. Oh, let's not do zippers. Right. Okay. Now, again, I normally only do one thing in a series at a time, but I do have the Halloween Haunted House Trio, sorry, by Waxing Moon Designs. Yeah, there we go. So I think I started this one. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I started this one for Frogwart's prompt. I am currently, stitching on this one down here. It took me a minute. I forget the one in the pattern first is this one. And so my plan is I'm probably going to display them. Even if I don't stitch them all together, it's going to be this one on the left, then this one, and then this one. So I started this sometime in July of 2022. I forgot in my note taking, I realized I did not write down the start date for this one. This is an unknown fabric. I'm pretty sure it's a 28 count. And based on how it feels, I think it could be a Witchelt, but I don't actually know. And like with Valentine House Trio, she calls for weeks dye work, so I did my own conversion, and that's what these colors are. So I think this one is a mixture of Color and Cotton, Forbidden Fiber Co., Classic Colorworks. Oh, there might not actually be any Color and Cotton in here. I lied. Sorry, it's Classic Colorworks, predominantly Forbidden Fiber Co. There's some Fiberlicious in here. And this one is sorry. So yeah, getting distracted by my pretty colors. So that is what that color conversion looks like. And again, I will go through this in more detail when I talk about these in the future. Might be a minute before you see it again, but I will talk about it. But again, if you're just like dying to know, feel free to put it in the comments. So this one I don't have as much done on, partially because of the fact that I am not a huge fan of this fabric, but it was, yeah, and based on the fact that there's no, the way that it feels, I'm pretty sure it's a Witchelt, but the color just worked really well for these flosses and for the vibe of this pattern. Because it's not just a plain mottled gray. It's got some, I think it's got some brown and stuff in it too. It makes it a little bit more spooky, so I liked it. I am loving this floss, which I believe is Candy Corn, yeah, by Classic Colorworks. This is a different color, but these two stars here are the same color, and that variegation is just the way that the floss variegates, and it's super fun. So yeah, so slowly but surely making some progress on that. Next up is Frogwart's Year 3 from the Black Needle Society. So super fun pattern. Cover up my face a little bit here. Oh, maybe that's what I should do, is just use my hand. But yeah, this I started on July 3rd of 2022. This is on a 32 count Beetroot by Fox and Rabbit with the called for overdyes and the etoiles. So yeah, this one, this color here, which I believe is Deep Sea. Let me double check. Or it's either that or it might be Midnight, but let me double check. Because I absolutely love the way that it is showing. Yeah, it is Deep Sea. The way that it shows up on this fabric. It's just, and that is just from variegation. That's not two different colored flosses. That's just the variegation there. Super pretty. So yeah, if you're familiar, with the story, because of the color, the dye lots with like Current and some of the other colors that are used in the Dementor, I may have a Patriotic Dementor too, but since he's on this pink or purpley fabric, I think it'll be fine. But since I have these in Pattern Keeper now, I've been color completing, and so that's why the cup is just that rim right now, because I wanted to color complete. Next up is Emmanuel by Fuzzy Fox Designs. She's on Etsy. I found this pattern, I believe, because I needed it, I think for a challenge that year. And so I started this on July 10th of 2022. And this is on 16 count Aida Fairy Dust Silver and Gold by Fabric Flare. I knew of Fabric and Flare, Fabric Flare, but I did not know that they made fabric like this. And I'll tell you what I mean when I get this all folded over a little bit. And which is, I believe, the called for fabric, and then I'm also using the called for DMC, which is Etoiles, as well as this Light Effects DMC. I haven't actually stitched with the Light Effects yet, but it's these two colors here. Sorry, let me try to display those without covering them up. There we go. All right. And so this is where I'm at. Oh, I didn't show you a cover photo. Goodness. It's like it's my first time filming a FlossTube video. Oh, pardon the circles on this cover photo. It's because I think I needed to circle it for, I think it was a note for myself to know which things were supposed to be light effects. So there's that. Oh, sorry. Good gravy. Okay, maybe this table is not the best table to film on. But this is where I'm at. So yeah, so everything in here is a toile. It's all sparkly. Sparkles for days in this pattern because I don't know if it's gonna pick up on camera, but it's not an opalescent fabric. It actually has glitter on it, which yeah, I don't think I'm gonna be able to position it in a way where you can see that. But there's actual glitter. I mean, you can kind of see it a little tiny. It more looks like, yeah, like right there, like right up in there. But yeah, there's actual glitter like sprayed onto the fabric. So super cool, super pretty. And I like a little sparkle. Next is Stitching Misfits. So this project has a story with it. I started this with my friend Jessica Allison. She is down Allison Road on Instagram. She lives in this area and we had gone to StitchCon together in 2021. Yes. And we saw this pattern and decided we were gonna buy it and stitch it as a stitch along, or at least just like stitch it together. I'm pretty sure neither one of us has finished it. I'm not even sure she's actually started hers yet. I can't remember if she has or not. We clearly don't keep up with each other on this thing. But this is the pattern I'm talking about. It's a Stitching Misfits certified support group. I'm pretty sure this got released at StitchCon that year, and this is by Cricklewood Crossing. We just thought it was super funny and yeah, and that we support each other in whatever we decide to do stitching wise, and yeah, we're both misfits in a way. So super fun. Now I am doing this, I think, did it call for DMCs? I don't even know. Oh yeah, it's on the back. Yeah, it calls for DMCs. I am not using DMC. I decided to go completely rogue with this one. I am stitching this on a 40 count Verdal, or it's even weave, which I'm pretty sure Verdal is the even weave version, or the name for the even weave. And this is Outback Jack by Bestitch Me. No, this project is not gonna be this big. I'm not a person who cuts down my fabric until I'm done with the project, or I know I want to use that fabric for something else and I've gotten to the edges, because I'm just terrified I'm gonna accidentally cut it off before and screw up my borders. So this is where I'm at with this. So I just have stitching, haven't finished the ing yet, and then the two spools and the scissors. And this the even weave is super soft and super fun to stitch on. I really like it. I am stitching this with silks, and that's where I went rogue. I decided I had a bunch of silks because I had ordered some from Almond M&M's. I had some Be Stitch Me. I had some Fiberlicious silk, and so I just decided, you know what? I just think this will be fun. A fun project to stitch in silk. I don't know when I'm gonna ever use these silks otherwise, so let's do it. So I just converted, oh sorry, these are kind of a mess, all the colors to silks that I had in my stash. It's not a perfect one-to-one, but it works. But yeah, super pretty colors, and yeah, super soft to work with. Very nice, I like them a lot. So yeah, so hopefully at some point, maybe we'll get this done. I am going to camp Black Needle Society's in-person retreat end of the next month, beginning of August. So I'm going to take that with me because Jessica will be there. So maybe I'll make some progress on that while I'm there. Okay, and then we have Common Thread. Now I don't have a cover photo of this one, unfortunately. It is a freebie, but the freebie I have is, I've marked on it because it's on my iPad. So I will just describe what it is to you for you. If you've heard of Common Thread, it was a thing. It still is a thing, but it just hasn't happened in a few years. That Kia B started, or Kia of Kia B started, and then she had other people like help her with, or like, yeah, I guess help is maybe a word, with like Pam and stuff from Just Keep Stitching, hello from Ms. Matthews. I think Almond and M&M's might have been involved in some way. I can't remember everybody, so I'm gonna stop naming names now. And so Liz from Hello from Ms. Matthews created a freebie for this back in 2022, I believe. Yes. So what it's gonna look like is it's 3 hearts in the middle with a needle and thread going through them, like kind of tying us all together, and then this really pretty like fancy border around the outside. So I started this on August 19th of 2022. This is just a random cut of, I believe, 40 count from Color and Cotton, because they'll do grab bags, and I've gotten a few of those over the years, and so I just picked one of those, and then I picked my own colors, because she calls for DMC on the thing, but she was like, feel free to pick your own colors and do whatever you want. So that's what I did. So I am using a couple different blues, and then, oh geez, a green and a black. Because you need the different colored blues, I think, for the hearts, and then the green and the black you use in the border and for the needle. So I'm a bit, if you haven't already noticed from my outfit today, I'm a big blue person. Blue is my favorite color, especially like lighter blues. So that's and then green is my second favorite. So that's what I tend to go for. So yeah, so this is what I have done so far. So I'm pretty sure, yeah, all of the hearts are done. That border is done around the outside, and then I just have the fancy border to do around the rest of it. So super pretty colors. So this next one that I'm going to talk about is called Quaker Flag by the Stitcher Hood. I don't remember where I got this at, but I just really liked the Quaker motifs making up the flag. I thought that was really pretty and different. I started this back in 2022. I don't remember exactly when I started it. It might have been for a Frogwarts thing. I have no idea. And I had this, I don't even remember why I had this fabric in my stash, but I thought it matched the color of the fabric that was on the cover page, and I didn't know when else I was going to use it, so I just decided to do it on this 10 count Ada. I believe it's an oatmeal. I think it's a Lori Holt Ada, if I remember correctly. But all I've got is I haven't even finished the upper blue yet. So it is very nice and soft. I do really like stitching on this, and I think I'm using 3 strands. No, I lied. I'm using 4. I'm using 4 strands of DMC to get good coverage on there. But yeah, and it's gonna be big, but that was kind of the point. So I really liked, the colors. So yeah, that's where I'm at on that one. Yeah, just the called for DMC on this project. Next up is Happy Halloween from Primrose Cottage Stitches. I started this on October 5th of 2022. Let me show you the cover photo here. There you go. And this is on 28 count linen in the color Oat by Be Stitch Me. And this is where I'm at on this one. I will say, when I initially picked this fabric, it seemed to me to match the cover photo. I have since discovered that Primrose Cottage photos the fabric appears lighter, because I've seen some of their models in person at StitchCon, and the fabric always is darker than what you see on the photo. And so my oat or my pumpkins are ghosting a little bit, but I kind of like it. Like, it doesn't bother me. I really like the way the orange and the black are popping on this. So, and you can see it, it's just not super prominent, but I was like, it's fine. I like it, and I just kept going with it. So pumpkins are almost done, and then I can move on. I'll probably do the ghost next and then go down and do Halloween, but also really love this color. Oat is a nice color too. And I'm just using the called for weeks dye works on this one because it came with the kit. Continuing on the Halloween theme, because I started a few different Halloween projects around that time. I started the Halloween wreath sal by Frosted Pumpkin Stitchery. Get my face out of there so it focuses. But yeah, super fun colors, super cute, the bat and the frog and all that fun stuff. And I believe I got the kit. Oh, sorry. I keep forgetting anytime I set things on this table, you're shaking. I got the kit fabric and the kit floss for this, so it's all called for. So I started this on October 7th of 2022. Let me pull out my thing here. And this is 28 count linen in pewter by Picture This Plus, again with the called for DMC. And there's a lot of them, so I'm not gonna pull it out right now. And since I got the kit, I just started in the middle with the house. And so with this one, so with the Christmas wreath, I've been stitching the clues like as they were, like the parts that came out in the individual clues, and like I've been doing the Evelyn Across the Pond method where like I've been stitching in all of the green and then going back and stitching the motifs in later to kind of eat your vegetables and get all the green done and then go back and do the other stuff. This one though, I did not keep up with downloading the clues as they came out. And so I think I have like clues 1, 2, and 3 and then the whole pattern. And so I will probably either pick arbitrary sections or like try to see if I can approximate with the thing, or I'll just decide, okay, I'm gonna go to here, do the green, and then go back and do the motifs. Or maybe I just go back and forth, like I do greens and once I surround a motif, I put the motif in, I don't know. But I'm gonna try not to overthink it too much. But yeah, so there's the house done. And then next up will be the big, massive bow at the bottom. So I'll do that next. Okay, this next one is Ghosties and Gourds by Hands On Design. Told you you'd see a lot of her. This is part of her banner year series. So this is what the cover photo looks like. Oh, I'll just do this and cover up my face with it. So yeah, so it spells out boo across the 3 banners. I'm only on this first banner here. So this is on a 32 count unnamed fabric by Jody, again from Steel City Stitchers. I managed to have 2, because I think technically I could fit all 3 of them on here, but it was a bit close because of the margins you have to leave for finishing and things like that. And so I fortunately had 2, I have 2, I think these are, yeah, fat 8s of this color from Jody. So I was able to go ahead and use it. So yeah, so I've got that top pretty much done. And then I've started in on the B, and I think I finished all that. So now I'm doing the fill in here. So yeah, super cute colors. Love the way those are popping off this green fabric. And again, I started this one on October 10th of 2022. This is Happy Fall, y'all, from Sweet Wing Studio. This was a part of the, what was this called? Autumn Garden Sale that happened at Market back in 2022. I'm pretty sure it was 2022. Yeah, I don't think I waited to start I stitched the rainbow 2022. Sweet Wing Studio is now becoming one of probably my all-time favorite designer. I wanted to do this one, so this is what this looks like. There you go, super cute. And it's on the smaller side, so I'm definitely gonna have some floss and stuff left over. I am stitching this on 32 count linen Return of Regency by Seraphim, which I think I just bought this on a whim from Hobby House, and it's like this nice light neutral with definitely some green undertones. And then I'm using the called for Cottage Garden threads, which actually, let me pull these out so you can see them because they are super pretty. If I can get them. Oh, I was like, what is happening here? But I forgot. I threaded my leftover up at the top. Oh, and now things are getting stuck in staples. There we go. So yeah, super pretty colors. So I obviously haven't gotten to the red yet, but like, and the way this one variegates, so pretty. So pretty. Okay, and then this is where I'm at with this one. So yeah, so this is all the bigger it's gonna be because this is the outer border, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, so this is the outer border, and I think I have, yeah, that's all filled in, so now I'm doing the inner border. And this is that one that variegates from the red to the green and the yellow. So yeah, so super pretty. And I'll still have a bunch of this left over to do other stuff with. But yeah, it's like this really bright, or really nice, like neutrally, but you can definitely see there's some green in there, which works, and the green matches with the floss really well. So it looks really nice. I started that on October 11th of 2022. And last of the 2022 WIPs, if my notes are correct, yes, is Witchy Way by Primrose Cottage Stitches. I also like them. This is what the pattern looks like. There you go. Now I actually won this in a giveaway from Athena from Stitching Goddess Designs, because who also lives around here. And I started this on October 12th of 2022. And this is on Storm Clouds by 20 count linen by Mountain Air Fabrics, which I don't remember where I found her fabrics at, but they're great. And like, look at the modeling on this thing. So cool. And I'm using the called for DMC on this, and this is where this is at. So I think, yeah, I've gotten all the way across on the bottom motifs because I think I wanted, sorry, FlossTube itchy nose. I wanted to get all the way down so that I could come and just get this gray done. I wanted to just be able to get that gray in and be done with it. And so, and I think when I think part of that was I was using this for a challenge at one point, and I wanted to be able to just do super easy stitching. And so I was like, okay, let me get these motifs. I'll just finish off that strand, get all the way to the end, so that way I'm not having to count all the way down. I can just go based on the motifs. So as long as my motifs are right, we're fine. So that's where that is. The only 2023 WIP I still have is my Frogwarts Year 4 band sampler. And this was started in June of 2023 during the retreat. Now this retreat, you'll wonder why I have so little done on it, even though you would think, at least at this point, you would think I have more done, but I was not able to take off work during this retreat. And so I wasn't able to stitch as much. So there's that one. Massive dragon. There's usually always one thing in here that's huge. That's gonna require a lot of stitching. So there's that. And I don't know how, but I managed to not write down the date that I started this. So that's why it's just June of 2023. I am stitching this on the called for 32 count linen and cabbage by Mystic Fabrics with the called for overdyes and etoiles. So there is where I'm at. Yeah, and I'm praying to the Lord that this down here is correct. I double and triple counted, but I was wanting to do color. I was, again, trying to color complete so that I could get some colors out of this project to have available for my year 6 and year 7 band samplers. And also just color completing on Pattern Keeper I've discovered is really fun. So that's what I did. And so I've stitched over to try to finish some stuff on that side. So, and like that random red and orange you see in the middle is the dragon breath and all that fun stuff. And this is gonna be the Potter Stinks badge and all that stuff. But yeah, so that's where we're at with that guy. And yeah, like the etoile in this one, there's some etoile in the Quidditch hoops, which you probably won't be able to see, but, and there's gonna be some etoile in the goblet right here, which is what these blue flames are. Yeah, those are etoile. But that's where the goblet's gonna be. So super fun colors. And after that one, we actually have Frogwarts Year 5. So I guess I either finished everything that I stitched in between, or I didn't really start a whole lot. I'm not sure. But, because yeah, this is actually 2024 now. And this is June of 2024. I think also during this period, I wasn't doing a great job of keeping track of things. So this is what year 5 looks like on this really fun pink fabric. I am not anywhere close to stitching, or no, I have started the veil a little bit. It's a bit cumbersome. Also, this dude was cumbersome, like just lots of full coverage in this one, but the effect is super pretty. So again, Katie does a great job with her patterns. So I started this one back in June of 2024. This is on 32 count Dirty Piggy by Be Stitch Me with the called for overdyes and etoile. So again, was wanting to color complete. So I actually, oh yeah. Can this be my screen grab? Yeah, so this is where we're at with this one. So yeah, I started doing the veil over there with that one color. And yeah, that's why there's just little motifs that aren't done, because I wanted to, during the retreat, I was definitely not color completing, but now I've been color completing. During the retreats, I'm usually a motif finisher. Now we're on to Old Rugged Cross, which is from Heartstring Samplery. So this is a series that it's called Sunday Stitches. I was in the auto ship when it was coming out. So I was getting one every single month. I was definitely not keeping up with it because they're big. But then she came out with the book with 2 additional ones. So I actually sold all of my other patterns because I'd really only started to use one of them, and then bought the book. So this is the book. It's called Sunday Stitches. And then this is some of them. And this is what's on the back. So I've actually already stitched Amazing Grace, which is this one down here. So that one's already stitched and framed. But I have the rest of the ones that were in the auto ship kitted. So, and ready to go whenever, but I'm only doing these one at a time. So I won't start another one until Old Rugged Cross is done. But this is Old Rugged Cross. I love the font on this one. Love the colors. This one is one where I am using Weeks Dye Works because again, I hadn't really discovered that I wasn't a huge fan of it yet. And I just love the colors on this one. And this was one that the church I grew up going to, we sang out of a hymn book. And so hymns are special to me. And so I wanted to stitch these as true as possible. And I've actually been trying, even though the whole point of these patterns was so that you would use like scraps of fabric that you had left over, but I loved her design so much that I've been trying to get the called for if I can. It's been a bit hard, but I've been trying. So I think, do I have these laid out easily? I do, okay. So here are, maybe if I don't grab them incorrectly, these are the called for flosses and like just super pretty rich colors, which I really like. Really pretty. So there's the floss. I'll show you. And this, oh, almost forgot to tell you all the rest of the details. This is on, I started this late in 2024. Again, completely forgot to write down what day I started this. But this is on 36 count linen in tea set from Graham Cracker Fabrics, which I believe I think the person who dyes is the son of the lady who runs Shepherd's Bush. Don't quote me on that, but I'm pretty sure that's correct. And this is where I'm at with this one. So this border, I'm pretty sure is completely, oh no, maybe not. Actually, yeah. Yes, this down here all the way is done all the way. This is over all of the way, but the big flower is up here. I think I was just tired of stitching the border, and so I wanted to do some words. So I got it in to do some words. But yeah, not very far on this one, but it's okay. Now we have Rooks, which is an Owl Forest embroidery pattern. Good grief. It's a kit. So with Owl Forest, there are some patterns that you can buy that are just the pattern. And I think this one you can't do it that way. Like I think you have to buy it as the kit. And so with the kit, it comes with the fabric and the Owl Forest floss. So this is what it's gonna look like. Well, let me take my head out for a second so you can see it. I have quite a few of their patterns and quite a few of their kits actually. Because I was like, if I'm gonna order kits, I'm gonna order kits and make it worth my while because it was expensive to ship them. So yeah, I let my husband decide which one I should start because I hadn't started any of them. And I was like, okay, I really want to start an Owl Forest. Which one do I start? And so this was the one that he picked. This is where I'm at with this one. So I just have that first tree trunk in and then the H from, it's Rooks in Russian. I don't have any idea how to say it, sorry. And I'm not going to attempt to try. And then just the start of one of the tree leaf balls there. But yeah, you can see it, but like their floss variegates super pretty. And then this is just the kit Zweigart fabric. I don't know what color this is. It feels like it could be a raw, but I'm not sure. And then I'm using the kit floss, which it's kind of in a mess actually, sorry. But yeah, super pretty variegated greens and browns. And like, look at that. That's the brown that's in the tree trunk. And then these oranges, these are the two colors that are in the leaves that you saw. Just super pretty. Next is the reindeer. Oh, I forgot to flip those over. Oh, well. This is the Year in the Woods series. So that's what that looks like. This was actually my first start of 2025. So we're getting the 2025 WIPs. So this is where we're at. This is on, 36 count gray magic linen from Be Stitch Me because she dyed fabrics and put together like fabric bundles for these to, so that you could, and with the different colors for the season. So this is like the winter color. So that is where I'm at with this one. Now I'm annoyed at myself because I didn't think to check to verify if there were any errors in this chart because it didn't make sense to me. Like the color that's charted for this swoop is the lightest color in the chart. But then when you look at the actual chart, there we go, it's not the lightest color. I then was watching Jen's Fiber Web, and she was talking about how there's an error in the chart and it's not that color. And I was like, well, that makes a lot more sense. So I'm gonna have to go back in and frog that out, because to me, it just looks weird. Like it could technically work, but like the shading here just doesn't work, and it's so much prettier on the pattern. So I'm just gonna go in and fix it. I just haven't done it yet. And I started this because Two Martini Stitcher, sorry, I'm totally blanking on your name now. That's gonna really annoy me. And I'm sure whoever's watching this is screaming at me. If anyone's watching. She is starting a select few. And since I had these kitted, I was like, all right, well, I'm gonna get this started. Because I'm gonna start, my plan is to start things that she's starting that I already have kitted. If she has a pattern that I own but I don't have kitted, I'm not gonna kit it up and start it, because Homegirl has way too many things that are actually kitted and not started yet. I don't have no business kitting up anything else. So I'm not gonna do that right now. So I started this on January 9th of this year, and I am using the called for DMC, but I am substituting in Classic Colorworks for the specialty threads that were called for. So instead of using, I said I wasn't gonna go through conversion, so I'm not going to. But I'm using these two Classic Colorworks colors instead of the called for Weekside Works and Gentle Arts. So, because again, I have plenty of Classic Colorworks, and even though I do like stitching with Gentle Arts, I have a ton of Classic Colorworks, so I didn't see the need to go and get that one specifically, especially because it's white. Okay, next up is Happy Summer from the Frosted Pumpkin. This cute little dog pattern. So this is on 28 count linen, picture this plus alchemy. I started this on January 14th of this year, and I'm using the called for DMCs. So yeah, super pretty modeling. And I know this one, it's more, the cover photo is more of a blue, but I pulled more of a gray color, partially because one, I feel like it fit for me better, but also I did the Hello Spring pattern on a light blue, and so I felt like if I pulled a blue for this one, they were gonna look too much alike. I don't even remember what the Happy Summer, I think the Happy Summer was originally on a white, but I wanted to do a colored fabric, and so I just pulled a gray for this one instead. So I've got the campfire, the fish, and then the two boots, and then I tend to just keep going in a circle down, and eventually I'll come in and do the dog, and then I'll finish up at the bottom. Next up is Easy Peasy by the Frosted Pumpkin. These were all kind of started because I finished the one in its series prior. So I have the Happy Spring, and then I have multiples of these seasonal sayings done. So this is what this one's gonna look like. There we go. And I say this phrase all the time, which is why I wanted to stitch it. Plus, my husband's favorite thing to drink is lemonade, so it works out that there's lemonade on the top corners. But yeah, I have my roommate that I mentioned earlier who quilts. She actually made me a cup that had that phrase. Like, she used a Cricut, like, cut that stuff out and put it on a cup for me. So I started this one, there we go, that's why I was looking at my bag, on January 16th of this year. And again, Easy Peasy by the Frosted Pumpkin Stitchery. This is a 28 count Jobelin. It's unnamed. I think it's like her Aquarius, but don't quote me. Or Aqua, yeah, Aquarius I think is what it's called. But it's technically unnamed. And this is by Stitch Me, and I'm using the called for DMC. Helps if you, and I think there's also there's an overdyed in here too. So that's what that's gonna look like. So definitely more of a blue, like it's got blues and greens in here, so it's not that same dark green that they used, but to me, I'm like, this fabric's just a fun color. I didn't really know what else I was gonna use it for, and I didn't really have anything like the color that they called for in my stash, and I felt like it was gonna work really well. So I stitched a bunch, like the reason why there's so many random motifs on here is I wanted to get as many of the different flosses on here as possible to make sure I liked it before I said yes, and I think it's a fun variation on what they called for. So next up is Snowman of Snowflakes by Bank Creek. I think these kits are super fun. I started with the pumpkin of leaves with the pumpkin that's made up of a bunch of leaves and then it has a little owl on the top of it. And so I have a few different ones of these kits. So snowman of snowflakes. Oh, I did not mean to pull a pattern out. Hopefully you guys couldn't see that. But that's what he's gonna look like when he's done. Super cute and sweet. And this is on the, no, it came as a kit, so it's the 18 count linen that it came with, and then the DMC pearl cotton. When did I start this one? I started this guy on the 29th of January. Now, the only issue, oh, and I apparently left a hanging thread on this one. You haven't seen hanging thread in a while, so pardon that hanging thread. Let me see if I can move it. The only problem I'm having with this one, because yeah, and this is that 18 count linen that's super, it's stiff, but the holes are huge. And that's why I use the pearl cottons on it. He's super cute, but the only issue I've run into with this one is that it calls for 927 and 926 as like the colors. I think those are the two main colors of the snowflakes. I think there's one other one, but those are the only 900s. The problem, and 926 is obviously, well, I shouldn't say obviously, is supposed to be the darkest color, I believe, on the, yeah, it's supposed to be the darkest color. Well, I got 927 and 928, which 928 is lighter than 926. And so it's not I'm not gonna match the cover photo. And so I'm not gonna get, I'm pretty sure, let me just verify with the pattern here. Yeah, so like these pops of dark blue down here, if I use the 928, that's gonna be light. So I haven't reached out to Bent Creek to see if it's either, like it clearly looks like they just gave me the wrong one. But I haven't reached out to them to see if like what I should do about that, like if they'll send me a replacement or if there's a chart error or something. So I should just do that. But I haven't yet, so I will just stitch everything else and then eventually get around to messaging them. Next is another pattern called Silent Night, but this one is by Shannon Christine. I have already stitched the Joy to the World one in this series, and so Silent Night was the one I wanted to do next. And these are not traditional like Christmas colors at all, but I loved these bright colors. And again, it's got blues and greens and pinks in it, these are my favorites. And so I just really liked the color palette with these. And there's the next, I think the one after this is Peace on Earth, I think. So this is, hold on, getting ahead of myself. So I started this on March 4th of 2025. And this is on just 28 count linen, a black linen by Zweigart. And these are just custom cuts that I got from my LNS. And I'm using the called for DMC. Sorry again for hanging thread, but I just have the wholly done because I started in the middle since this is a custom cut for this. So yeah, so I got a bunch of white in and then I'm putting in that teal color now. So yeah, so 9 out of 10 done, but again, just started this year, so not surprising. Next is the Honeybee Quaker by Primrose Cottage Stitches, but here's the cover photo. So yeah, I started this on March 12th, 2025. Yeah, okay, I'm just double checking to make sure I'm not crazy. And then this is just a 32 count white. It came in the 80s box that the Black Needle Society did. And so there was tie-dye that came in the box and you were meant to tie-dye this fabric, but I don't really have any other just plain white fabric. And so I was like, I'm just gonna use this for my pillow. So that's what I'm doing. Sorry, Katie. But that's where I'm at. So I've got the bees in here and this top Quaker, and I'm just gonna keep on going. And then yeah, as I finish the pillow, I will start the next one. Next up is a pattern called Coffee First. I keep calling it the wrong thing. Yeah, it's called Coffee First. Let me pull this up on my iPad for you. This is by Luminous Fiber Arts. And as I've said, I'm a big coffee espresso fan, so this works. This is actually a pattern that was gifted to me, there we go, by my husband for my birthday, I believe. Yes, it was for my birthday. And he did it as he put together his own version of a Black Needle Society box. And So he gifted me this pattern with some fabric and some other like stitchy fun stuff. It was super cute. Now this one I started, let me pull out my little card here and I can tell you, on March 15th of 2025. So that is where I'm at with this one. This is on 32 count linen affogato by Fiber on a Whim, which I'm discovering, funny that it's part of their coffee series. I think this is slowly but surely becoming one of my favorite neutrals, like, of all time. Like, I just love this color, even though I wasn't anticipating it because it's got like a green undertone to it, but I don't know why, but I love it so much. I have quite a few projects stitched on it and that I finished that are on it. So, and I'm doing my own color conversion for this one. So yeah, so we've got the border and then this little step, and I'm color completing on this one, which is why you have like random motifs that are done, but also not done. Cause I was trying to get down so I could do some others, like, cause they're like this bird, like these colors are really only in the bird, and like this color here for the steam, that's the only time it's there. So I wanted to get down there. But yeah, I'm doing my own conversion because if I remember correctly, this calls for a bunch of, calls for a bunch of Weeks Dye Works, and as well as some Elastic Color Works and DMC. And so for the Weeks Dye Works, I'm doing my own conversion. Next up is I Am a Custodian, which is by the Black Needle Society. And this is what this pattern looks like. Super pretty, super big house, but it's the Downton Abbey house, so of course it is big. And I started this at the Downton Abbey retreat that started this year. This fandom replaced the Gilmore Girls fandom. So this is what she's doing now. And I'm a big Downton Abbey fan. So this is the first of, I believe, 5, because I think there's gonna be 4, or no, wait. It's either 4 or 5. Cause it says on the back to connect all 4 parts. So I don't know if that means there's 4 parts total or if there are 4 parts that are gonna go around it. Katie probably said, and I just totally missed it. But I started this on the first day of the retreat on, let me read my notes correctly, April 9th of 2025. I'm using all the called for flosses, including the cinders that's called for. And this is how far I am. This is a 32 count biscotti by Color and Cotton. I don't know if they dye this anymore. I got this from 123 Stitch, but I don't know that I've ever seen it on their actual website. So I could be completely wrong. Okay. Last 2 whips. Can't believe we made it, friends. This is, oh, I almost forgot. Jessica Allison and Sarah Dockstader, the Redneck Bifocal Stitcher here on YouTube and on Instagram, are gonna appreciate this pattern, I think, because they're both Plum Street Sampler fans. So this is Tired Trio by Plum Street Samplers. I'm not usually a very like primitive stitcher. Sorry, let me put my face behind this again. There we go. And so I am using, started this on June 1st of this year, and I'm using 36 count Bee's Knees by Seraphim, which you're gonna wonder, why is that so dark? The cover picture doesn't look that dark. Well, when I was going to kit these up, I wanted to use my stash because I had plenty of stuff in stash by the time I started kitting these up. And so I didn't want to worry about buying the specific fabric. And so I just started looking online to see what those fabrics looked like, which I know the pictures online aren't 100%, but they're usually pretty close. And so when I was looking, I think this one calls for American Chestnut. Yeah, American Chestnut. And when I was looking online, American Chestnut looks more like this color from what I could see. And so I was like, okay, well, let me just find what I have. And Bee's Knees by Seraphim is pretty close from what I could tell. I've never owned a piece of American Chestnut, so I could be completely wrong. But I like it. And it looks cute on here. This sloth really pops off. And so that's what I'm gonna go with. And I am using mostly called for. There are some Weeks Dye Works in this pattern, so I have substituted those for, I think most of them are Classic Color Works. I think there might be one Color and Cotton in there. But yeah, so that's where I'm at. The face down here, I don't know if you're gonna be able to see it, but a lot of the face is 1/1, which was real fun. This is Here Comes Treble by Ink Circles. So there is this one. So Here Comes Treble is the treble clef there. So I have a friend that I stitch with every 6-ish weeks, and she was gonna start in ink circles. She hasn't yet, but she was gonna start in ink circles, and I realized I don't have, because she stitched 1 ink circles and really liked it, so she was gonna, and she had another one. And I realized I don't have any ink circles started, and I knew I had this series, so I just kitted it up. And I had most of it because it's it's Classic Colorworks. So I started this on June 20th, which was the last time I stitched with her, on 32 count linen. It's Eureka by Fox and Rabbit. And I'm using all the called for Classic Colorworks on this one. So yeah, and this is Cinnamon Toast. I think this is Brown Sugar. My friends, we have made it to the end of the WIP Parade. That is all of my WIPs. I believe I have 58 total. I wasn't counting during this parade, but when I was counting in prep, I'm pretty sure I have 58 total. So my hope for this channel is that I will film about once a month. My schedule right now, I don't think will allow for any more often than that. And while I do stitch quite a bit, I don't stitch a ton. I'm not a super fast stitcher. And so I think every 2 weeks, I don't know that I would have that much progress for you. So I figure once a month will give me, one, a nice ease into the channel situation and like keeping up with everything, but also not let me feel overwhelmed by filming every 2 weeks and fitting that into my schedule, and also having good content for you, because I don't want to film too often to the point that you're not really seeing much progress in between videos. So I think once a month, especially because it's just me, I don't have a partner on my video. So I think since it's just me, I think that makes the most sense. So I will get all this reorganized to get this video edited and posted. And I hope to see you all next month. All right, I'll come up with some cute outro in the future, but for right now I don't have one. So I will see you all next time. Bye.